I'm Bambi Francisco with this segment of Lessons for Entrepreneurs, and I'm speaking with Esther Dyson. And she's been around for many years, I've been a big fan of hers and listened to her and her insights about what's been happening across the internet. So Esther, thank you for joining us for this segment. And this is really where entrepreneurs can hear from you and your experience working with entrepreneurs, being an entrepreneur, and the 3 lessons you've learned in your experience. What would you tell them? I'm an entrepreneur today, so I guess you could address them to me. What are those 3 pieces of advice?
I thought this would be somewhat more prompted. I guess the first one is listen. Whatever the context, you can learn more by listening than by talking. And if you listen, people will think you're smart. If you talk, they might find out whatever. But if you listen, you can then respond to people and be more relevant to whatever they're interested in. The second is be focused, or just don't get distracted. More companies die of indigestion than of starvation. There's always going to be opportunities. The challenge is to pick one opportunity and really go into that opportunity, figure out what it means, and do it well, rather than do 5 or 6 things badly. And if you do one thing right, you'll get a chance to do the next thing later. So the third lesson is, well, it's my favorite: always make new mistakes. Don't be afraid to try things out.
You have a refrigerator magnet.
I have a refrigerator magnet.
Reminds you of that.
So if you make a mistake, you can learn from it, and then don't make that same mistake. Go make another one.
Talk about 1 or 2 of those mistakes that you actually made over and over again, if there are any.
Oh, no, I'm perfect. So I've been extremely lucky. So I've made lots of mistakes, but they've mostly been ones that I could recover from and learn from. So I've invested in the wrong things. I've made really stupid mistakes, like showing up for a meeting a day late.
Can you talk about specifically what that mistake was and how you recovered from it?
Yeah, I'm genuinely trying to think of a good mistake to use in this context. The biggest mistakes I make, given what I do, tend to be investing in things that don't work out. And somehow, the real trick from learning from a mistake is taking the right lesson and then knowing when to apply it the next time. Because you can invest in a company and the CEO doesn't work out. So then the question is, did the CEO not work out because they were stupid, or they were the wrong person for the right company, or it was the wrong company and the right person? Right. So the challenge is you might learn a good lesson, but then you need to know how to apply it the next time around effectively. So frequently you think, well, I can change this guy, or I can teach this guy to be a better CEO, and usually you can't. So probably the first trick in investing is find someone who can change the company when things change, because no matter what you invest in, chances are it's not going to be exactly what you thought it was going to be when you started. So you need a person who can carry you through the change, move the strategy around, understand his or her inadequacies, and bring in people to handle those inadequacies.
So you're really talking about people. You're really
people,
looking
yeah.
at people. What are some common mistakes that you've seen that entrepreneurs make?
Well, that entrepreneurs make. Probably the biggest single mistake is an issue of timing. Focusing on short-term problems rather than long-term ones. And one thing I see a lot is you don't hire soon enough or fast enough. And so then, because you haven't made the right hires, you don't have the time to address your problems because you're dealing with everything yourself. And then you really need a chief operating officer, but you don't get around to it until it's too late. Or you need 3 more salespeople, and so it's a question of understanding how to do things in the right sequence and how to do the most important things first because then that gives you the time and the people to handle the things that are less important as before they become urgent.
Okay.
So it's thinking long term.
Any lessons, this is the last question, any lessons that for this space adventure training that you're going on?
I'm sure I'll learn them.
You'll learn them. We'll have you back, and you can share how the lessons and your experience of your space training.
Yes.
And good luck with that.
Meanwhile, watch the Flickr photos.
Yeah. Oh, yes. We'll keep up to date with the Flickr photos and whatever microblogging site you'll be using. I take it probably Twitter. So
I'll probably actually use Flickr and post also on Huffington Post or my own flight school blog.
Okay. Or Vader.
Or Vader, of course.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing, Esther.
Thank you.
I've been speaking with Esther Dyson, and I'm Bambi Francisco.